to this point. We weren't sure how we were going to be able to enable people to see all of our showcasing and all the amazing projects. I want to give my congratulations to all of the people who have put together amazing projects. I know the standard of work is extremely high. I am just so impressed and really proud to be able to look at the work that's coming out of the school. So congratulations for that. I am sure as an audience we are going to need no encouragement to be respectful, because the standard of work and wanting to honour people with the gifts and abilities that God's given them and to be used for His glory is just so clearly evident. So look forward to an afternoon that is going to be an amazing blessing to all of you. So well done.
Thank you. I might just quickly begin in prayer. Could you join me? Our gracious Lord God, I thank you for the wonderful talents, abilities and God-given gifts that we see available to us this afternoon. Lord, I'd ask as we proceed through, as we talk about the amazing things that we see here, Lord, that we would remember these are gifts and abilities that you have given us to enable us to glorify and honour you. Lord, may we think about it in that way. May we seek to know you more through what we do, and certainly seek to serve you by that. In your name, amen.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. We are really excited to have you today at our Year 8's Passion Project Showcase. This afternoon it's about exploring. It's about exploring the things that our students have done, and it's also about celebrating. It's about celebrating the things that God has done in them, the gifts that He's given them. It's a semester-long individual major work project. It's a topic which is self-selected, and it culminates in this showcase, which is really great. There's a reflection statement which goes along with that. That's kind of like a reflection essay of sorts, and that involves analysing both the process and the product which students have had. Now, students have also had a journal. The journal has helped to authenticate their work. It's been a place to store ideas. It's been an opportunity to share their thoughts, and that's been great.
Well, what we've been doing is having a whole lot of fun, and it's been fantastic. So obviously the process is a fairly involved one. What we have is the beginning of term 1, our students had an opportunity to put forward some ideas, a proposal about what they would do. Now, how do they get to that point? Well, they start to think carefully about what are their interests, what are the things that they enjoy doing, and certainly what are the things that they're passionate about.
Passion project, I did pyrography of a tangled tree amongst the fire. Pyrography is the burning of wood to produce a distinct outcome, and literally translates from Greek to writing with fire, and I just find that super cool.
I think it does sound super cool.
Before I went to Ghana, my grandfather taught my brother and I how to make a traditional wooden honey stick, and it was a special memory for me. And yeah, now he makes a bunch of bowls and signs it on the end, and I just thought it was cool.
Project, I have made an overskirt to be worn over an ordinary wedding dress. It's like a 2-in-1 wedding dress. The overskirt is to be planned to be worn at the wedding ceremony to get a more traditional look. And when you get to the wedding reception, you can take off the overskirt and be more comfortable, more elegant in just the dress underneath it.
Very good. So tell me, why did you choose this?
I chose to do this because I discovered a real passion for sewing in textiles last year.
Yeah, very good. So what have you learned about in terms of textiles?
I've learned that your best is enough, even if you don't like what your end product is. I've learned to be resourceful with time, and I have picked up more sewing techniques and learned more about designing. I think that this is a good skill for me to have if I want to continue to do textiles for my Year 12 major.
Yes.
So for my passion project, I created a corduroy jacket. So I drew up a pattern for it, and then I made a full-size version of it and traced it onto my fabric. And first I made a prototype, and then I made sure that it all worked and stuff, and then I changed my pattern again and made my actual jacket, and then I embroidered on it, and then I lined it.
Wow, how amazing does that sound? So good. Can you tell me why did you become interested in that area?
So I saw some embroidered denim jackets and I thought it was really cool, and then I chose corduroy because it's a bit thinner and I liked the colour with the colours that I wanted to embroider with. And I also wanted to embroider because I saw some things that looked really cool and I wanted to do that.
Sounds great. And can you tell me what skills do you reckon you acquired over the course of the project?
I think that I like learned to be more patient and stuff because it takes a long time, and then also like time management and organising because like I'm not very good at that. Yeah.
Nice. And anything else about yourself in general?
Yeah, it like takes a long time, so I learned to be more patient, and I learned that I like really enjoy sewing and like embroidery.
Yeah, great. It's great to know what gives you joy, isn't it?
So I designed a house, learned how to do architectural drawings, and made a final model
So just
of my design.
a few things in there, so it's really good. So what did this involve? What did you have to do to actually eventually get this finished product?
So I had to complete concept design drawings, making a practice model, and learning new skills from my mentor, like drawing a site plan and sections.
Wow. Okay, so tell me, how did you become interested in architecture?
I've always enjoyed designing things, and the creativity of designing a house really appealed to me.
Okay. So during your process of all these things, and you did lots of it, designing and building and all of that, what were some of the things that you found that were difficult in the process?
So how time consuming some things can be, because they can take a lot longer than I originally thought. Some things were like completing the final drawings took a long time, and also the glue I used was really frustrating.
Wow. So what have you learned as a result of the project?
So the basics of designing a house, how to do the architectural drawings, make a model, and how to overcome problems and time management. I also learned that nail polish remover is really good for removing super glue from your fingers.
It's a good skill to have, mate. So what did you see change in yourself during this project?
So it showed me that I was capable of overcoming problems and completing the final product, which I was happy with.
Very good. So what about you in the future? What do you think this has helped you to do in the future?
I think it helped me to understand architecture and to see if I liked it as a future job. It also showed me what doing an HSE major work would look like.
Pretty good. So you've got this audience in front of you, many of them whom are about to go and do passion projects themselves, or some of them who are obviously looking at major works down the track as well. What advice would you give them?
So some things will take a lot longer than expected or have unforeseen problems. So set aside plenty of extra time for that kind of thing. Also, if your mentor is going to be your dad or another close relative, make sure that you are okay with them telling you to do your project every single day.
We're going to move to our showcase time where you can walk around and ask the same kind of questions that we just asked our interviewees just then.
Off you go, Sam.
Done is a reptile enclosure coffee table. What inspired me to do this was that I always was interested in reptiles and we didn't have a coffee table, so I combined the two. And what was really fun was all the work and stuff. It was a really fun process, but what was hard was all the sanding and auto planing, which took ages.
For my passion project, I created an electric guitar. When I did this, I made it because I like playing guitar, so one of my hobbies I like to do. And something that I learned was how to solder and to wire, and how to undo, and what is created in a Stratocaster electric guitar. What was hard was probably soldering and unsoldering, because I got some of the wiring wrong at one point, and that was incredibly difficult. But other than that, it was a joy to do.
So for my passion project, I made a model of my house. And the reason why I did this is because I've found myself to have a passion for architecture. And one thing that I found hard about it was gluing, because I made a couple mistakes and glue spilled on some of the wood. But one of the good things that I've learned from it is how to manage time very well. So, yeah. So here's like the front door, front part, and you can take off the roof, look inside.
Project, I transferred a Star Wars graphic onto a car bonnet that I got from a scrapyard, and it's the stuff that most people use to like put onto cars to, you know, advertise stuff.
I've always loved Australian birds,
So I decided that I wanted to show how incredible these birds are by doing an artwork of them. I used watercolour pencils, but it was hard because I had to make the birds look realistic.
My passion project, I made a smoker with food recipes.
For my passion project, I sewed a formal dress from scratch. I've been sewing since I was in year 4, so I really enjoy doing it. I hadn't sewn any clothes before, and I had to learn how to use a pattern and lengthen the skirt from the pattern. I really enjoyed doing it.
So, for my passion project, I painted 3 artworks of Conjuring Point, which is my holiday house. I loved painting this. I feel like I've learnt heaps of stuff. I've never done big artwork, so it was a really good chance for me to expand my skills. And yeah, I did acrylic painting just with normal paintbrushes.
It's just a 14th century designed longsword.
I'm Kyla and I made a mini little clothing line for little kids. I made it because I was inspired, because in year 7 we got to make aprons and I really wanted to expand my skills in sewing. Because of the coronavirus I couldn't meet my mentor, so I didn't know how to sew. I wasn't really advanced in sewing. I learnt a lot during my project. For my passion project I created a macrame wall hanging. I made it because I wanted to try something new and expand my skills. It was quite hard because I had to restart it a lot, but it was quite good because I got to learn something new. Yeah, I had my auntie, she does macrame also, so I copied some of her patterns to practice.
For my passion project, I created 4 unique makeup looks. And I did this because I was influenced by other celebrities and people I know, and I wanted to try something creative, and yeah, I wanted to try something new that I hadn't done before. It was difficult at some times because I didn't realise how hard it was and how much patience I had to have. But it was really good because I ended up learning how to do it and I tried something new, which I was really happy about.
For my passion project, I decided to create 2 big A3 Prismacolor drawings. I decided to do it because I wanted to do something I loved, and I love drawing and I also love my pet, so I decided to put the 2 together. Something that was really hard about it was finding the motivation to keep going because it was really difficult to draw some parts. And what I learnt was how to use the pencils better and how to use the little tools, and I got better at drawing.
Hello, I'm Jude. I made a short film for my passion project. It's a murder mystery. Yeah, one of the characters die and they're all acted by me. It was very fun to make.
So for my project I did photography because ever since I was little I've loved doing photography. And I remember I would always take my dad's camera and take whatever shots I could. It was really fun to learn about the different skills of photography and the different types of photography there is. And I learned a lot about cameras and their settings.
Oil check for the oil pan. These are the exhausts. Spark plugs. I didn't know it was spark plugs.
PC. I put all the parts together. I thought it would be great to have a PC to do work on it and can play games on it. I've learned a lot about the tech. The cable management was hard, but I've solved it. Yeah, it took me about 6 hours.
For my passion project, I filmed a film and
edited it. What went well was the filming went quite smoothly, so we got most of it in first takes, so it was quite easy. What didn't go well was when we uploaded it to the actual computer, it sometimes only brought in the audio file, not the actual film. And at the end of this, I learned how to edit the film and do different types of techniques, getting things cuts in time with beats.
So for my passion project, I created Jasmine's dress from Aladdin, and I did it because I wanted a challenge. Instead of just making regular outfits, I wanted to make something more difficult. It was hard because it didn't really go to plan and it didn't exactly turn out the way I wanted it to look, but I'm still proud of it.
So for my passion project, I created a photo book to show all my photos that I took. I wanted to do this because I'm really passionate about photography. I learnt different types of photography, like long exposure photography, street photography, portrait photography.
This is my passion project I created here, and I wanted to paint it because I find that painting, there's more than one way you can do it, and also it gets more than one point across. Because if I were to write it down, it would be a lot different because people wouldn't be able to see it differently. It's a metaphor of like the reason of life, and it's a Christian metaphor that I made up. The sun is God, Jesus is the farmer, the dove is the Holy Spirit, and the watering can is the Bible, and that's Satan the crow in the corner, and we're the Christians, the sunflowers. Oh, and the pathway is the one pathway to heaven.
For my passion project, I built a rocking chair out of recycle. I decided to do this because I'm passionate about woodwork and I wanted to see what I could do with the recycled parts.
For my project, I did nature photography, and why I did nature photography is I love animals and taking photos I find really fun. Plus I love editing and I love sharing my passion for nature with others. Some things that were good about this was I got to go to lots of places and see lots of amazing animals. So some things were challenging, like getting the right shot and holding the camera for a really long time.
For my passion project, I built a Minecraft bank. Well, the Minecraft bank I built, so I found a instruction book on the internet and then I copied off that. Yeah, it works pretty well.
I made a portable iPhone cinema for my passion project. I made it to block the sun when I'm watching Netflix in bed, and a way of holding my phone instead of using my hands, because then I can stay anywhere, like outside, inside, and just watch stuff.
Passion project, I did wildcats photography, and I went to zoos from Melbourne to Sydney, and I had a lot of fun while learning lots of skills.
I chose this because, I don't know, I thought it would be a fun and interesting thing to do. Something that was challenging was that I didn't have enough clay, and because of the whole coronavirus thing, we couldn't really go to the shops to get more.
I chose to do cake decorating for my project because I've always loved looking at my mum making cakes. I enjoyed that I can improve my skills and maybe in the future I can make cakes for other people. It was very hard to work with fondant sometimes, and it had to take a lot of patience for me.
My passion project, I did beach photography. I chose to do it because I saw my dad doing lots of photography and I always wanted to learn how to do it. Something that was hard was during the coronavirus, it was really hard to go out and take these photos, and something I learnt was all the skills that I had to use for the camera and taking the photos.
I did a mashup of two songs for my passion project, A Sky Full of Stars and Faded. I really liked doing this because that I got to sing and use technology to enhance my knowledge of music, and something that was challenging was that I didn't actually have technology to record except for my iPad, so recording was a little bit harder.
For my passion project, I designed the interior of a tiny house by showing it on mood boards. I did this because I watched a few videos of tiny houses and I was really inspired by it. I learned how to put things like the furniture and tiles together to make it all go with the same theme.
I made a Batman coffee table. The reason I made it was because I was inspired by my grandpa's design of a wooden butler, and when I was looking at designs I found a coffee table that was the shape of a Batman signal, and I was inspired to make a Batman coffee table. The difficulty was trying to shape out the bat signal, and because it's made out of plastic we had to find a heat pen to shape out the signal.
I wrote a netball guide, and it's an instructional netball guide on how, some drills that you can do and how to play and stuff. I chose it because I want to inspire people to play a beautiful game of netball, and I love netball.
I basically did a sunset painting, and yeah. I chose it because I really love sunsets, and it's so nice to look outside and see beautiful sunsets and then just think of the creation of the world, and yeah. It was sort of hard when blending the colours, because sometimes acrylics it's hard to blend, but I managed to do it. I love painting anything really, but sunsets are my favourite.
For my passion project, I made a salmon ladder, which is a climbing frame with rungs that you jump up to get to the top. And by doing this, I learnt to drill and cut and use machines safely. It was very difficult to do the fitting of the pieces and cutting at angles. I enjoyed spending time with my dad, and it was very fun. I chose to make a salmon ladder because I enjoy climbing, and I thought it would be a good way to build my strength and my arms, and yeah.
I want to say a big thanks to all the parents. Thank you so much for your help and the time and the support that you've given the students. They've done a magnificent job, and that's owing to certainly how much support and time you've given them. So thank you so much. We've loved working with them and with you. Thank you.